Hi, everybody, come on in. I don't even know if notifications went out. I haven't told everybody that I'm live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We got a lot to get into. Well, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a very long live because I do plan to go live on a different topic later on. But hey, Pika, I see you. All right, let me let the people. Welcome, everybody, guys. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hold up. Did I put this in here yet? Sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. Let's see, everyone. Live now. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Oh, okay. Everybody's coming through. I don't know if you guys got your notifications. Welcome. I see some folks in the chat. Welcome. Thank you guys for being here. Listen, we will not be live very long. I did want to give some commentary to this whole situation with Micah Miller's sister, who did an interview that was very interesting. For those that don't remember, Micah Miller is the woman whose death was ruled a suicide that is at this point very questionable. Okay. That people have been talking about here on the streets, on YouTube, and I thought we did cover it, and I thought it was important to talk about it. Hey, everybody. Well, thank you, Nikki. Shout out to you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. And then I want us to talk about the Osbournes for a little bit. So this won't be a very long live. We had a longer live earlier. Well, Nancy says, well, first time caught the live. Welcome, Nancy. Thank you for being here, everybody. I do plan to go. I don't know if I'm going to go live later. I might. It just depends on, there's some stuff going on and everything. Hey, CC and D Real Show. Welcome. All right. We got to talk. So let's start with Micah Miller, and then we'll transition over to the Osbournes, okay? Just to have a balance. And I'm only going to be live. My goal is to be live for at least 30 minutes to talk a little bit about this interview right here that was given to Fitz News, okay? And for those that have been watching and on this case unfold, I think it's very important. The family is asking for things to be looked into, which I think makes sense. As far as how the husband has been acting and everything that's been happening since the death of Micah Miller, I mean, a lot of it is not making sense. Okay? And I think it warrants another look into this. So Micah Miller, sister, her name is Anna Francis, did an interview with Fitz News. And it was very telling about just some of the isolation that her sister had received, and lying of mental health and everything. So I think it's important for folks to start paying attention. Shout out to you. Thank you, Rabbit. I'm from Europe, but I promise my money starts with it. Shout out to you, Christina. You've been a long time supporter. I know who you are, so don't you worry. Don't you worry. Christina's so funny. All right, let me hit play on this and let me know your thoughts in the comments as we're reviewing some of this.
So he just convinced her that we weren't good for her. And as the years went on, she would come and talk to us and then get out of our lives. And like, it kind of flip-flopped like every other year if we were on good speaking terms or not, depending on what John Paul's narrative was. If you didn't speak positively about John Paul in any way, you are not allowed to be near Micah whatsoever. And that goes for anyone, even her sister. Our whole family, we would speak on what we thought was not okay, what was controlling, it was brainwashing came up every single week in our family. That word came up every single week on like, what do we do? And it came to the point where we didn't even say anything for probably a year. We literally just let her do whatever she was going to do because we couldn't control it anyway. So we just had to be like, well, I really love my sister and I want to see her. So I have to pretend like I'm okay with going to dinner with John Paul. And I would go to dinner with my sister. He had to be there.
Right. When she started, so he was alleging for a very long time that she had mental health issues. Were those issues something that you guys saw or were they?
Micah never had any mental health problems until she married John Paul in 2017. She never was on any medication her whole life.
this is very scary. So, and Panko, thank you for becoming a member. Shout out to you, Panko. This concerns me to the core. So, this is Micah's sister who's saying Micah never had mental health issues until she got with JP, John Paul, the pastor. Okay. This is very scary to hear. As far as the hold that he had on her, like it is so. Was John Paul, were they able to convince all of these services that she might have had that she was diagnosed with something? Because when John Paul gave a statement, or the attorney gave this statement, whatever, I think it was the attorney gave that narrative, it really threw us off because it painted her as an unstable woman. When you watch the video and you're watching her like make the last steps and final decisions of her life, you see somebody who looks to be at peace with the decision that she decided to make. It was ruled a suicide. But based on what I'm hearing by this family right here, it's really given me something else. It seems like it needs to be reopened. It needs to be looked into, because people can be coerced to make decisions to end their life. Okay. And maybe she didn't mean to do that. Maybe that's not what she wanted to do. Okay. And welcome, Panko, to the membership. Just a thought.
Life. None of my siblings are on medication. We just have naturally so much energy that we all have our own small businesses. We are all very just contributors to the community. We get involved in our church and our business and friends and everything. We don't need medication to make us wake up in the morning in a good mood and energetic. And we use that energy for good. And I mean, the only thing my family can really come up with is that he was just jealous of what Micah, how like, he was always known for being successful, and Micah was also a very successful and liked person. And John Paul's used to being the center of attention. He's used to getting all of the good graces from everybody. People are just honestly too scared to go against him. But my family, we are like the only people who aren't scared to speak out of the truth since they got married, even before that.
Right.
My family started going to his church whenever we moved to Myrtle Beach in 2010. And our parents saw his narcissistic behavior on the stage. They took our family from the church. And that's whenever John Paul started isolating Micah, is when our family left the church. And then, I mean, our divide with John Paul and our problems with him and our family, he's tried to divide our family since we had left the church. And this is like 24 years.
It's been a long road.
You have to kind of wonder, right? Like, why would Anna Francis lie about this? Like, what would be the goal here? Why? I'm just saying, like, we have to start thinking about what the family, who I think, in my opinion, are the ones that are surrounded by this whole situation. What are the family members saying about this? What do they want? Why it needs to be looked into a little bit more. Spooky Fox says, I would not be able to stomach JP throughout an entire meal, because he didn't shut up the entire time. He definitely gives me this character of being full of himself, but then again, he, is a pastor, very much preachy, very much like making it about his sermon or his testimony. I think that's another way you would put that. It definitely leaves me wondering a lot. You said, DD says, I firmly believe JP painted a story that left him in the best light. Micah deserves better. Christina says, Micah deserves so much better. He really tried to change the story about him, but I believe the family. I believe the family too. Yeah, Karma. He's that me guy. Yes. So then people wonder, like, well, it was ruled a suicide. I think it needs to look into it. And it's not for us YouTubers to look into it. I'm saying I think it really needs to be reopened, reassessed, reinvestigated, whatever the term may be, to figure out if that's what really happened to Micah. Because I have my doubts at this point. Just the information that's coming about Or was Micah so miserable at that time? But even then, like, what would drive her to that? Or was she put into that situation? We just don't know. We don't know. So I definitely have some questions about this.
If anyone knows us from the other side, like, we're not even related to him. We just had to put up with him because our sister was one of his victims.
Right.
So anytime we basically wanted to just have family time or anything like that, he always had to be involved. So if we wanted Micah in our family, then we had to do whatever they kind of said to get through the holidays and stuff. But even when, like, the first time he put Micah in the hospital, our family was like, this is like not like her. She's not mentally unstable. She's perfectly fine. She's healthy. She was 23, 24, 25, one of those three, when she's supposedly having a bipolar episode for the first time, which none of us had seen signs for before. Which, I mean, everything behind that was just John Paul had been taking probably since he was in his older teens, early 20s, he started taking medication for his mental health. He's been on schizophrenia medication for over 20 years.
Okay.
And
that's interesting.
There's videos that are coming out because people had seen his behavior a long time ago, 20 years ago. And that's when they started seeing signs, and they never posted, shared anything because they were scared of what he was going to do.
That's what I think has been
every single person in Myrtle Beach that knows of him. If they see something that he's done wrong, they're all like scared for their life, scared for their business. If they own a business, like, multiple people really love our family throughout this whole thing. They own businesses, and they were silent, anonymous givers to our family during this whole thing. And they literally said, I have to stay anonymous because I own a business and I have to protect myself.
Yeah, that's when I first started covering this, like right after the news started trickling out. When I talked to people, they were very scared to speak up. They would tell me the stories was I have to stay anonymous, which is absolutely fine. But in the past couple of weeks, I've seen a trend where people are getting bolder and more truths are finally coming out,
that is interesting. Nancy Grape, I love your name, by the way, because I want to say Nancy Grace, but it's Nancy Grape. He targeted her as a teen and got his hooks in early. Poor thing, probably felt all of his BS coming from a similar situation. It's easy to brainwash a good-hearted teen. Interesting. Let me keep playing this. I think he convinced her to do it, blackmailed and brainwashed her, and made her believe he put out more pics or hurt a family. Beat her down to where she thought she had nothing to live for. Interesting.
Which I think is very good. I think it's finally showing more of the picture of what's been going on.
Well, even the article that was just written, John Paul's first wife, Allie, was trying to get all of those young females that were underage to speak up about what John Paul had done to them, and they were all too scared. So without a victim speaking up, how is the authority supposed to prosecute someone or have him have accountability for what he's done?
Right. And even after that happened, from what she wrote, manipulated the church so that he could stay in charge of it.
Not only that, is he owns the ground that the church is built on, the dirt, every chair, every person that's on his payroll, he owns them.
Right. And I don't think people understand that power mentally when you add in, the fact using the pulpit, using people's beliefs in addition to that. So it is sad. It's sad. It makes me sad for Micah and for you guys.
Well, the whole time she was actually ready. The past few months, she was ready to leave him and be strong and do whatever it took. And she even still then was like, don't tell anybody what the real, like, as everyone would put it to today's terms, juicy details of why she's divorcing him. She even said, she was like, I want to protect the Christian church. Every single person that has found out what he's done make comments like, that's why I don't go to church. That's why I'm not a believer in God and all these things. And that's the last thing that Micah would want, is everyone saying it's all the Christians, it's all the pastors, which it's not. It's just one specific location.
So she was living with somebody that definitely, God, like I think he needs to be evaluated. He needs to be reviewed. Always Savage says, yeah, what is this? What do the Osbournes have to do with the death? Always Savage, you might have come in a little bit later. I tend to do a couple of topics in a live stream. The Osbournes are going to be in the next part. So I don't know if you picked that up later or you just, I don't know, but I'm just letting you know. Okay.
Yeah.
And even then, she knew a lot of people at the church were good people, and she didn't want to hurt them. She would rather endure the abuse alone or with only like her close family knowing what's going on. And a lot of people have in our family's been wanting to share with the world who he really is for a long time. And I just came to the, I guess, epiphany last week. Was I actually told my boyfriend, I was like, I think Micah had to go through all of this, and I think it had to come to this. I really believe that if she didn't pass away and this much attention happening, then he would never have been held accountable for any of his actions.
That is really sad that it's gotten to this point. I mean, if this is the case, this person shouldn't be ministering or teaching or anything to anybody, because what it sounds like to me is that he can target certain folks. He has the ability to do that. People need to be careful with that. He shouldn't be around ministering folks. At least that's my opinion, if any of this is correct. But they need to open that, and they need to reopen and maybe investigate and hear maybe the family side of things. Where did this mental health stuff started? Given that they don't have a history within the family, it would be good to know. Maybe, I don't know, investigate that a little bit more. Maybe get a psychological evaluation on him. Because none of this is making sense. No worries, Kitty Coo. I'm just thinking, I mean, what do y'all think about this? I feel like we don't have the full picture, and it's not really being painted very well. I think Micah didn't think anybody would believe her because he was who he was. It's so sad. I wish she would have talked with her family about it. But Christina, even if she did, I don't know if, like, what else would they have done? You know, sisters over here saying like she probably felt like this was an epiphany, right? That this is something that had to happen. It's unfortunate, but how else would she have gotten her message? But this man shouldn't be ministering to anybody if this is the kind of, like, you know, background, or if this is the psyche behind this person. This is not a safe person for anybody to be opening up to or anything like that. Just a thought. Yeah, what would it take for law enforcement to open the case back up? There are certain factors of criteria. I think so too. Like, what if it wasn't ruled a suicide? Would have been one, right? It seems so, the ruling seems so off. You said Kitty Coo says the big picture I think we do have is that he treated her horrible. I agree with you on that.
He would just live like nothing ever happened.
Do you like, so the last month she really had started to finally make that break that she needed to break, you know, to get away from him. What was her mood like? You know, how was she doing in general with everything that she was going through?
The first few days were the worst. She actually stayed with me, and her last straw was him putting her into the mental hospital against her will. The police, God. He lied to the counselors at the mental facility. He ran in there and said, my wife's trying to kill herself. You need to come get her, which wasn't the truth. She actually ran away from him. She was trying to get away from him. And he has shown patterns of throughout their relationship, whenever she just needed a break because of all this abuse she's going through, she would literally just ask for an hour to hang out with just her siblings without him. And he would take that as them getting too much space away from each other. So, I mean, he would always have a tracker on her phone. He would always, in like this later times, like the current times, he always had a tracker on her car. But back then, before all this was happening, he would always use a location on her phone. So he's been tracking her for years. And me and Micah would just be at lunch and he would just randomly show up. Or I would meet Micah for lunch, and then she would just look down and be like, He just shut off my phone. He just shut off my cards. He completely can freeze her whole entire life.
Oh
If she doesn't do what he says, he literally has control to her whole life from his cell phone.
And he used that.
That is scary. No, that is scary. Like, it sounds like he wanted her deceased. That's what it sounds like to me. The thing that gives me pause is that she went through with filing for a divorce. That's a huge step for the abuse, and it's odd that she do what she did when she's coming out on the other side. I would agree with you on that one. It doesn't make sense. But what if she did that to try to expose him too? You know? Like, what if she did that to just say, like, this is my way of exposing him? Because she knew that this would have gotten social media's attention. That video where the phone call to law enforcement, the dispatch, where she wanted the people to make sure that they found her body. What if she, like, part of me thinks, well, what if she did that because she wanted to expose who JP really was? And this is the only way she felt like she could do it. If she did it. Jenna says, there's something wrong with any and all pastors. There's something wrong with any and all pastors, not to the degree of abuse or murder, but for some reason it's those people that are the most deviant. I love to study why. The deviancy behind people that purport or portray to be behind I don't know, like counselors, or not counselors, but like, what's the word? They're God's chosen ones, or somehow are something special to the cloth, if that makes sense. You got to be, there's got to be more to than just putting a person in that kind of position, because believe it or not, that is a position of power. We do have to be careful with how much trust and leniency we give folks like that. Exactly. Deviancy, because that is a power position right there. Somebody that is of trust, it's getting kind of scary. And I think he was given a position of power in his own ministry. We do have to be very careful about that. It's sad that so many people in the world are desperately searching for something to believe in, and sadly are misled by fakes like JP. Yeah. They had a protest I think it was over the weekend, and they were just, continue to bring some light to JP, to the crimes. And like I said, I think a lot of this is going to continue to come about and be exposed, but I personally do feel like it needs to be reopened. There's got to be something to be said about what people are saying. We can't ignore what people are saying and their experiences, including the family. There's got to be more people speaking out. Nancy Grape. Definitely. So please, if you have not watched it, go watch it. It's Micah Miller's sister interview, Anna Francis full interview. Check them out. Let me hit that like button because I forgot to hit the like button on their site. Check it out, Fit News. They dropped it about 23 hours ago. Check it out and watch the full interview. I wanted to give commentary about that. All right. We got to move to the whole Osbourne situation. Now, a couple weeks ago, I did call out the Osbournes and I said, this is so interesting. What is going on here? Like, especially with Sharon Osbourne talking about, we really didn't know Diddy like that. Well, maybe we did. And it's so funny to see them now in this little video that they did about 7 days ago. All right. And luckily they have timestamps, so we're able to go right to that timestamp. We're going to go right to it. Oop, we're going to go right to it. And I just moved my mic and I didn't mean to. We're going to go right to it. And y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. So they're giving commentary relating to the Cassie and Diddy video. What they saw, what they think, what they believe, and just the I don't want to, is it social distancing? It's almost like they're social distancing themselves from the Diddy situation. Well, we only knew him socially, but we didn't really know him like that. But we only knew him socially, but it wasn't really like that. We didn't really know him like that. Listen, I'm no expert. You let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I did speed it up to 1.25 because I'm kind of curious to know what y'all think in the comments about.
New surveillance footage, a video, shows Sean Diddy Combs grabbing, shoving, kicking his ex-girlfriend, singer Cassie.
So I guess the backstory is they had been having an altercation.
He'd already punched her in the eye.
Yes,
Hold up.
and he then had.
Let me go back a little bit. They asked, have you guys seen the video? Yada, yada, yada. Right here.
Are we cool talking about the next topic?
I think we should talk
Here
about
we
the next
go.
topic. Dad's not going to want to, but I think I want to at least hear why he doesn't want to.
Are you ready?
Oh, I don't want to talk about the rock and roll all of that.
No. We're not talking about that.
What?
So have you seen new surveillance footage, a video, shows Sean Diddy Combs grabbing, shoving, kicking his ex-girlfriend, singer Cassie.
I have.
So I guess the backstory is they had been having an altercation.
He'd already punched her in the eye.
Yes, and he then had fallen asleep.
Yes.
And she packed her shit and hightailed it.
The thing is, it's just, you know, when you, superficially, when you meet someone, I think we should all keep it in our minds. This is just a superficial social meeting where you really have no idea. They're being very nice. But then when people ask you about them, we must always remember, we don't know it.
Yeah.
We don't know him. This is a superficial thing, right? We don't know him. We only got invited to a couple parties, and I believe Kelly might have been dating one of them. I can't remember who exactly. Miu says, can somebody check Ozzy's pulse? Miu, stop it. I distinctly remember let's see, Kelly Osbourne. I mean, she could have dated one of the sons or whatever. Dated Diddy's son. One of them. I can't remember who it was. Quincy Combs. Quincy Combs. That's who it was. Diddy's stepson. It was alleged that they were dating at one point. It was alleged. Yes. Yes, it was. But see, we only know him from a distance. From a distance. That's how we know him. And by the way, Panko, did I shout you out? Thank you for becoming a member. Shout out to you, Panko. My love, Panko. Thank you. 2 words. Sociopath, possibly. Let's keep watching, all right?
We really don't know him. On a social level, he was fine, lovely.
It's different, like saying that about I don't know. I met him at a fucking party. Very different from, say, like the allegations that came out like around Manson, where we know him, not intimately like that. But
I think one of his sons just got put in jail.
Who? Did he?
Yeah.
Oh no, he got arrested when they did the raid.
Which was unfair.
Put away in jail.
It wasn't like a kid's son. It was like an older, like a.
I still think that you leave the kids alone.
Well, if they're involved in some shit, you know.
The kids are adults.
It's like a spider's web right now. It's an ugly.
He's an adult, right? Christian Combs is an adult. So it's not like a little child. Like, I don't understand. But anyways, it's so funny seeing them kind of talk about this because I don't really know what side they stand on or where they go or who they swing with, what's going on.
Ugly situation. It's
either way, it didn't look very good for him in the future, did it?
No.
Do you know what was the most telling part to me of that whole thing that made me believe that this wasn't just a one-time only thing? Was the way that she just lied there. She didn't get up. She didn't fight back. She didn't do anything.
No.
It was like that had happened to her before. And she knew that if she did anything, no matter what she did,
exactly,
she was going to get hurt more.
Very
so
true.
Literally just
possumed up.
And that is so heartbreaking to see a woman in that position. And I think it's got to be said what an incredibly brave woman Cassie is to come forward and to stand up for herself and get some.
She got a lot of money.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
that fucks you
matter.
up for
She
life.
deserves all his
She
money.
kicked me in the fucking head for $30 million.
Y'all heard that? He said, kick me in the fucking head for $30 million. She got a lot of money. She got a lot of money. They said it doesn't matter. You can kick me in the head for $30 million.
Yeah, I'd take a kick from Diddy for 30 mil.
I
Would
don't
you?
know. It's sorry.
You got a kick in the head for $30 million?
Only
No.
if I could kick him in the balls 3 times harder with a pair of fucking metal boots.
All right.
Right?
You
Fucking hit me and got your head chopped off. It's like, no. But I must say that she was filmed 2 days later with him going to an event, and she was
Deadpan.
dead, like no expression, totally like
Numb.
Yeah.
of what went on.
We
We
do
saw,
know.
which was totally insane behavior to do to a young
yeah, okay.
And my thing,
woman.
if
any woman,
if
old,
she-
young.
if she had been doing something that was, he could turn around and be like, no, she smacked me over the head with a vase or whatever beforehand. If that was the case,
Why drag her back?
Why drag her back? If someone is being
Mhm.
violent towards you, you're like,
Get
go
out.
away, like be gone. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
see you. But no, he beat her up and then dragged her back into the hotel room.
Yep. He did that.
It's just so disturbing.
It was something that when you look at it, you do feel sick inside
Yeah.
to see such
I mean,
violence to.
and then if you look at the backstory on the fact that he denied the existence of that video for so long.
You just can't. Well, as I said, like where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah. And it is just an extension of
Epstein?
Jeffrey. Yes.
Yeah.
You think?
Well, that's the rumor. There's a ton. If you go deep into the X Reddit hole, internet.
There's so many crazy conspiracy theories going around about this
Yes.
situation. I don't know what to believe.
Yes.
What conspiracy theories are they talking about? Can y'all tell me what conspiracy theories are happening about Diddy that I think that when I hear that kind of language, it kind of makes me feel like they are, first of all, there's lawsuits that are happening right now. Now, is everything in the complaint correct or accurate? We don't know. It is not up to us to decide. It is not up to us to figure out what's true or what's wrong about that. But I guess I just want to know, the stories about Diddy have been out there for many, many, many years, and people have been talking about it, and nobody has listened. Right? Like, people have kind of ignored, people have spoken out. People get ignored. They're not trying to lose a paycheck, right? So I'm not really sure what part. I mean, what conspiracy theories as far as this goes, right? How many parties did the Osbournes? How many Diddy parties did the Osbournes attend? That's what I'd like to know. Why did it take this video that we all saw of Cassie, right, for people to say, oh shit, she must have been telling the truth? Really? Hey, Wim, I just want to know. I want to know.
And here's my thing. I lean into, okay, it's plausible.
Yeah.
Like absolutely plausible.
Wow.
I don't necessarily believe it until there's actual, evidence that can be reviewed and legitimate,
But we
legitimized.
know
Just
he's a
quiet.
professional liar. Put it that way. He's a professional liar. So when he's asked something, he's going to cover it up with bullshit.
Did you see the footage where he was being interviewed and he was sat next to Mike Tyson?
And he put his hand under Mike Tyson's leg, and Tyson goes,
Yep. Very weird.
very
fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of like.
I think another thing that's really sus about the whole situation is how quiet Hollywood is about it.
Yes.
Because
that's it.
everybody's got something to do.
I cannot. Oh my God. See, I was wondering if anybody else had seen this video. I said, I cannot be the only one who watched this. I think it's so sus how Hollywood is so quiet about this. Aren't y'all Hollywood too? Aren't they Hollywood? Like, you got to watch that Tyson video now. Mel says he already admitted it was in the video and people still don't believe it, right, Mel? I'm saying, aren't the Osbournes Hollywood? I don't know. There's this Mike Tyson video or whatever where Diddy looks like he's making a pass to Mike Tyson. I think I have it on one of my videos that I did on the Osbournes. Yeah, they had their whole Hollywood show. It's funny how they say, don't you think it's suspect how Hollywood is so quiet about it? Aren't y'all Hollywoods? Y'all are Hollywood. What do you mean?
To do with him.
I just think it's
I get
that, you know, what is it? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. I mean, he is one of the biggest names in the industry and has been for a very long time, since the late 90s is when he really kind of took off bigger than, you know, he was the biggest hip hop artist for one point.
God, do you remember his whole shtick where he had his valet holding the umbrella behind him wherever he walked?
Bentley.
He would go.
Was it I don't know if that was Bentley. I don't think he was. I don't remember.
But anyway, he would have this valet with the big black umbrella
Dad needs.
walking everywhere. It was just, he put up a good front.
Yeah.
Can I tell you one thing that I associate with him that I do think of fondly was how funny his mother was. Do you remember we used to see her shopping in Prada in New York?
No.
And
no, I don't remember at all. But I remember he sent some really nice chicken. That's all I remember.
it's just
From his chicken restaurant in New York, he sent
Oh,
it
my
to us.
goodness.
But anyway, it's ugly. It's disgraceful.
But it's Hollywood.
But he'll be a social leper now.
Yes and no. Yes and no. There are the people that will be absolutely loyal, and then there are people that'll be like, get away. And I guess it all comes
It's
down
so weird to me to see Hollywood people talk about other Hollywood people. That Lady Cole says everyone gets all weird talking about Diddy. He's no one special. He's a human being just like the rest of us. I wouldn't say he's special. I just don't know if he's like the rest of us, because he's been in positions of power. I think that he is no one special, but I don't think he's like the rest of us. I would have to disagree with that, but I hear what you're saying. Suzanne's like, do they all have dementia? Asking for a friend. Then listen, people forget their shit. You know, they forget that they're also Hollywood. And I'm just here to damn, like what? It's just like weird to me to see this. I don't know. Crafty Kid says, I say we should all sit around and talk about it, rabbit round table, and talk about Diddy crap. I didn't think he's like the rest of us. I haven't gone around and killed people or attacked people like he has, allegedly. She did shut that shit down, Jane, right away. She said,
what happens now? You know, they raided his house, but he took off to Ecuador. Is he even in the country?
Yeah, he's in
Miami,
last
apparently.
seen in Miami. I
But
mean,
why if they arrested a bunch of people and he took off, why didn't they arrest him when he came back?
He didn't go.
I don't think he went.
No, he did. He got on a plane and left the country, didn't
No,
he?
he didn't.
He didn't?
They
Went
stopped him.
Florida.
no, I thought they didn't stop him. They
Yeah.
let him go.
He
See,
didn't. He chose not to go. He was in Miami.
But it's awfully
See,
quiet
y'all-
about the ring.
y'all, you guys give Ozzy a pass on this. Let me just say this. You notice how they're keeping up with the mess too? They know what's going on. People give Ozzy a pass on this. No, he knows what's going on. Okay?
Like, okay, well, what did they find? Why did they arrest his kids? And now you're hearing these things that he's got. One conspiracy theory is the reason why this hasn't been pushed further is because he has footage and he has knowledge and he has all this stuff of other crimes with very well-known people.
mhm.
Oh,
Mm.
cool.
And have
Well,
you been watching Jaguar?
Oh God.
She's a great singer. She used to sing with the Roots. She's an
So they mentioned Jaguar right here. I cannot. Oh my God. I heard that she told people she was pregnant by Jay-Z. I cannot. She's a great storyteller, y'all. She's a woman that's been giving all kinds of crazy Diddy stories, some of which have been very interesting, some of which have been somewhat true. You know, it just eh, I cannot. But anyways, that's how you know she's been watching The Mess. She's been watching The Mess because she mentions Jaguar Wright.
she's an unbelievable singer, and she's in her 40s, and she used to hang with him and Jay-Z, and she has
Show me a picture of Jaguar Wright and Diddy. I've seen pictures of Jaguar Wright and Jay-Z, but never one of Diddy. I believe she's a great storyteller. That's all I believe.
come out, and the things she says are just absolutely unbelievable.
About Diddy or about Jay-Z as well?
Both of them. Both
Wow.
of them.
It's going to get so
I mean,
ugly
she's
and so messy.
accusing Diddy of murder, and I mean, like, unbelievable
Well, he
stuff.
did. The guy that took the fall for him.
Shine.
There was that rapper that
But he didn't murder
Diddy
anybody.
apparently shot someone in front of.
He didn't murder anybody that we know of, allegedly. Now, I think he had something to do with, allegedly, in my opinion, I think he had something to do with Tupac, and I definitely think he had something to do with Biggie's death. Okay, but the whole situation with Shine, Shine was the fall guy for Diddy in that nightclub shooting. We know that. And there's probably more out there that we don't know. But Jaguar Wright, in my opinion, isn't saying something that we don't already know about Diddy, if that makes sense. Now, I that's just my thought.
In front of everyone, like
in a club.
In a club.
That's with J-Lo.
Yeah, and that guy said, "No, I did it."
Yeah, and took the gun. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's all filthy. Put it that way.
But it's all for me. I'm like, oh, it's like a 1920s gangster, like.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
Oh, it's totally that,
Yeah.
but in real life.
yeah.
But I
Man,
tell
see?
you who is absolutely hysterical with all of this.
Who?
50.
50 Cent.
Oh, that's right, Mom.
I love him.
He's
Well, he just sold a show about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
he did. He
Yeah, see, they are keeping up with the mess. They know what's going on.
and because he somehow has footage that he owns
Mm-hmm.
that is going to go in the
Mhm.
documentary, and he has sold that to Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
But I think 50 Cent is fucking hilarious.
He is
when
the
he gets a
funniest,
bee in his bonnet
sharpest
about
wit.
someone.
Did you ever see what he said about Mayweather?
No.
He's like, I'll pay you like $100,000 to read a single page of Harry Potter. Because
Here's the deal, Mischief. Show me a picture. Does she have pictures out there that this is what she did? I'm just telling y'all. I don't believe everything that she says. She's a great storyteller. That's what I'm going to say about that. There is a whole sector on YouTube that has exposed Jaguar Wright for lying on a lot of things. And she's really great at doing what she does. And there's a lot of platforms that platform her. But I've also seen the other side where I'm like, this lady is very messy and not very credible. But that's just my opinion, though. I promise you. When was she with Bad Boy? She was never with Bad Boy Records. I think we got her confused. I mean, I'm just saying. That's what I've seen. And there's, like I said, there's a whole sector that has debunked her time and time again. So, yes, was she hanging out with some celebs? Sure, why not? There's some pictures out there. Does she have some contacts? Yes. But she gives herself a lot more notoriety, and she's a great storyteller. But you can catch her in her lies. She lies a lot. She lies a lot. She's been exposed before, multiple times. That's just my opinion, though. Y'all can believe whatever you want. That woman that says she was shot in the face at the nightclub recently gave an interview on that situation. Yes, she talked to News Nation a couple times. Very true. She did. She did. I think there's more that died because of Diddy. I believe it too. There's probably a lot more that we don't know about Diddy. I believe it. I think we're only touching the surface of it. And I think once there's an indictment, once there's something more, we're gonna see a lot more. This is only surface level at this point. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to. I hear you. No, she's got great music. I'm not disputing that. I just don't believe everything that she says, Miss Jiff. That's all I'm saying. Yes. So I'm gonna let y'all go. I might be going live later because I got to talk about some stuff. But I'll see you guys. Okay. All right. Get your notifications on. This was literally just a short little live that I wanted to do. Hit the like button. All right, guys. See you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.